Here we are. We made it to episode 6 of our Let's Talk About Work and Equitation series. This is an effort by Indiana Work and Equitation Association to help new riders to learn a little bit more about the sport and make it less intimidating to get started. It's a wonderful sport, and I'm glad you're joining me today. Hi, Angela. As usual, live questions are more than welcome. If you're watching this in the replay, please let me know, type replay. And if you have any questions, please feel free just to type them in the comments and I will answer them when I check the posts later. So today's topic is the speed trial. And there's, generally speaking, two categories of the riders. There are those who are exceptionally excited about the opportunity to go fast as you want. And there are riders, and I'm in the second camp, who are a little apprehensive about the speed. And sometimes that's what keeps many people from signing up perhaps for the first show, because it could sound scary to have to participate in something called the speed trial. Let me assure you, it does not have to be scary at all. The beauty of work in equitation and in the speed trial is that the approach you want to take in this particular trial is strategic and specific to your horse and your situation. Before we go into more strategic details, let's talk about general rules. What exactly is the speed trial? It will look very much like the ease of handling trial. The same obstacle are used with two exceptions. The jug obstacle is not used at the speed trial, and herding the cattle from small pen to small pen is not used in the speed trial. Other than that, same rules for course setting apply. Obstacles that could be used in both directions, for example, the bridge and the jump and the drums, if there is an extra obstacle in between. There are the same limitation, let's say, in the jump height according to the level. So novice jump will be cross rail, by intermediate it goes up, etc. The number of obstacles is the same as for the ease of handling. It's 10 minimum for novices, 11 for intermediate, and 12 obstacles for advanced and masters. And remember that children and introductory riders do not have a speed trial at all. Novice rider that received 3 zeros in the previous ease of handling will not be allowed to ride the speed round. The same disqualifications rules apply. You must enter 60 seconds of the judge blowing the whistle. You must ride the obstacles in order. You must complete the obstacles correctly, go through entry and exit markers, ride the obstacle correctly. Everything stays the same. The penalties for outside assistance still exist, for failing to salute to the judge exist. The only difference that now penalties are expressed instead of points, they're expressed in penalty seconds. And there's a handy chart in Confederation for Work and Equitation's rule book that breaks them down. The penalties go from 5 seconds all the way to 30 seconds. There are a number of disqualifications that could happen at the speed trial. The course will slide, if your ease of handling course included the jug, for example, the course obviously will be changed at least that much to replace the jug obstacle by something else. So often you will have a second course walk before your speed trial. In a smaller competition where the course were purposely designed for little to no changes between the ease of handling and the speed trial, it's possible that there will not be a separate course walk for the speed trial if nothing changed from the ease of handling round. So the speed. This is an opportunity for a more reserved rider. I don't want to call you timid, because we'll call you reserved riders, to perhaps school your ease of handling again. Speed round is what they call anything goes round, as in you can choose any gait, and it does not necessarily mean you must gallop everything. You might as well trot the whole course or portions of it. I often find for myself and watching other riders that speed round obstacles oftentimes ride nicer than ease of handling, because the rider's not concentrating so hard on perfect execution, perhaps not micromanaging the horse too much. Oftentimes, the obstacles in the speed round end up executed much more fluently and with less interference from the rider to the horse. Also because the rider's attention perhaps is on the next obstacle, so we'll let the horse be. We tell them this is your job, and they do it remarkably well. For those that do like to go fast, remember that speed also brings some risks with it. In the speed round, you still have a disqualification should you knock down any part of the obstacle that have not been used yet. So if you're making a really tight line, let's say around a drum obstacle that you have not executed yet, and the horse dropped the barrel, unfortunately, you will be disqualified. And the more cautious rider that perhaps trotted the whole course and took a little longer will be placed above the risk taker if the risk didn't pay off, because in working equitation, the rider on a horse that completed all three phases will always place higher than somebody who disqualified in one of the phases, no matter how brilliant the other two phases might have been. And I think it's fair. It shows the true versatility